Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros MLB. This is Leading Off Live, brought to you by PrizePicks. Sign up today for PrizePicks and use that promo code Leading Off when you do. It's me, Joey P. Joe Pizzapia. That, of course, is the Welsh, and it's you. And you know it's going to be a hot show when the chat is going before the show even starts. There was like 30 messages in the chat before we even started the show today. I love that. And here's the best one. If you want to talk about leading off, here's leading off. Here's Dan G leading off. I dropped Lance Lynn, and who picks him up? The guy I traded Brandon Lau to get Lance Lynn for in the first place. If Lynn gets good again, I'm going to mail that guy some farts. That's what he said. That's how you start a show. That's how you lead off. That's the first comment. Does it get better than that, Welsh? I don't think so.
Do you think you can like logistically mail a fart? You think you can like put it in like a bag and like it opens up? It's not going to make the sound, of course, but do you think the aesthetic of a fart can really be mailed?
Well, I guess here's the thing. I mean,
asking for a business venture. No,
this is a business venture.
Nothing
I think what you do is you have to have the hybrid where I think perhaps you send something in the mail that's smelly, and then at the same time you send an email and you ask the person to open both of them up at the same time, and then the other email has like the sound of one, so that you're getting the full experience at the same time. That it's a lot. It's very complicated, I think.
I don't know. I think it's like similar to like saving the ocean air. You know, being at the beach and being like, "Oh, bottle up the ocean." You can just bottle up a good old fart and send it to the Lance Lynn picker upper. Or there's a company out there too that I don't know if you know this, that you can send like elephant poop to people. You can actually do that.
There you go.
What a world we live in. So there you go.
Those are your options. So watch
like your farts
and starts very, very closely. This is why you tune into the show. Nobody's having as much fun as we are talking about baseball. The X plug of Shohei Ohtani at this point has been slightly disappointing, Welsh, I got to say. No, that's not this show. We're not going to do that. We're going to talk about the X plug.
Kind of on the other extreme of it. We're not even talking about that. We're talking about farts.
We literally led off with a fart thing this morning, but whatever, it's fine. But we're going to lead off with a lot of other good things. Zac Gallen. That investment in Cy Young's looking pretty good right now. 7 innings, 1 run. Great performance from him. By the way, he was also part of that trifecta yesterday. If you had the parlay of the day again, you hit again yesterday, 2.5 to 1. So I hope you're following this show. I hope you're with us at Betting.
There were some good bets yesterday. Who was it in the chat that was dogging me about I was like, I like the White Sox total runs. I kind of like the first 5 over in that game as well. And they're like, no. And both hit. Absolutely both hit.
We'll find
pretty much everything but Hunter Brown
pull them out. Yeah, Hunter Brown, the only thing, Hunter Brown was disappointing. But other than that,
and Bivey. Hunter Brown and Bivey stunk, but like I said, Mitch Keller.
Well, I specifically didn't make investment in Bivey because whenever it comes to young pitchers, I know there's always these weird bumps in the road. Like Grayson Rodriguez, right? He looked great a couple weeks ago in his first win, and they threw up his worst start right after.
Funny enough, his number actually went up hardcore because when we did the show, it was 4.5, and it jumped up to 5. And I jumped off. I didn't because I did some of my stuff after the show, and it went to 5.5, and I was like, what the hell happened? What the hell happened to this? Because I think everybody was hitting 4.5. So I think a lot of people got burned by that, but not by Zac Gallen, who was also in your parlay and my individual bet total. It was
Diamondbacks.
Gallen continues to be awesome, by the way. 11 swing and misses in that one, even though it was a little messy early on. He looks like the dude. He had 8 whiffs on the fastball, 32%. He had an overall 31 CSW, 31% CSW. Magnificent.
Look, baseball betting sometimes is just not that deep. I mean, I looked for who the A's were playing. Oh, the Yankees and Nestor Cortez. Well, that's a check. I look for Zac Gallen start. That's a check. And Shane McClanahan start against the Orioles. Check. Yes. You put the 3 together, you turn yourself around, and next thing you know, you're winning money. That's what you do. Here's a good one here. This is Brett Anderson. Mail him some Fots, some Brandon Fots. Just mail him a Brandon Fott card. There you go. That's
well, actually, Concase said that, like, like those music cards where it's like, you open it up and it's like, one I made, and you're like, oh, it's very a great card. And you just open it up and it just farts at you. That's
here's a great question, by the way, from Bill Schmidt. How much longer are we holding Jordan Walker and Taj Bradley in redraft? I'm holding Taj for a while. Like, I'm not, as pitchers continue to drop like flies. I know Glasnow's coming back, but I'm holding Taj Bradley. Walker is more complicated now with this Contreras situation. That's my only thing. And now that he's clogging up DH, I know Gorman hasn't been hitting. I got some questions on Twitter about him today. But what do you do here with these two guys? You hold them both?
So Taj Bradley is really tough because there's a couple things with it. He has gotten Liddy his last 2 starts after being sent down. It has not been good. I'm trying to pull it up here.
That bothers me 0%.
It bothers me some. He's given up 4 earned runs. He gave up 4 earned runs in his last start. The one before that, he gave up, it looks like 8. Yeah, it was 8 he gave up. He only made it out 1 inning, walked 2, struck out 2. Then he gave up 4, walked 3, struck out 1. Here's the other problem. He's still on a 6-day schedule. He's not even on the 5-day schedule thing yet, which is
because it's not about. Because I don't think it was ever about that. I think it was a service time manipulation nonsense. That's what I think.
So
I was
all of it
more about that.
That is Jordan Walker, by the way. So tomorrow is the day. Wednesday is the day where if they bring him up, he can still qualify for the extra pick if he were to win Rookie of the Year. If they don't, he loses a full year of service and they gain an extra year. So he's not coming up anytime soon with their mess. So I would tell you this. In a 10-man, I think both can easily be moved off redraft. In a 12-man, with how things are going right now, I think you could probably move on from Taj if there's other options out there. Maybe even Walker. Anything deeper or really deep benches, I probably not. I still really fully believe in Taj Bradley, but I'm very discouraged by whatever this is. You know what I would love to have heard if they said, "All right, Taj, you're going to get sent down
just
for
throw
5 days."
Yeah.
But exactly.
That's why I want. I haven't looked at the breakdown of what his pitches have been, but I guarantee you, if it's like 90% fastballs, it's like just go get your work in. Let's not try to.
I'm going to do that today. I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to go back and look and see what his pitch mix is versus what the last 2 AAA starts are, because that's exactly it. I want to be like, have they been telling him, we want you to do this thing right here? And that's causing some of the blow up. So I just don't know what this management is of it. So it's like, listen, if you've got options, my biggest thing is always this. If you have options, I think both you could move on if you wanted to. If options are limited, these are both not just like willy-nilly drops or anything like that.
I don't know. I'm holding those guys till Memorial Day. You got plenty of time there, especially in season-long leagues. Let's get to more headlines. Shane McClanahan, 4 hit ball for 6 innings. He was great. We talked about him. Mitch Keller, Welsh, you were on this yesterday. Prize picking and styling and profiling. How good is Mitch Keller? Wow. 8
phenomenal
Ks, 1 walk. He's now 4-1. It's tremendous for Mitch Keller. I mean, and I like Mitch Keller's personality too. He's just a really good dude. So I'm very happy for Mitch Keller. Just as a sidebar, not that that matters at all. Chase Silseth, which I always struggle saying it. I could see it a million times. This is like the way Wonky can't say Sorare. Silseth for me is hard to say. I don't know why. Is going to replace Jose Suarez. He's 22. He's got a 0.90 ERA, a 0.90 whip, and 20-8 K walk ratio in 20 innings and 4 starts. Is Silseth a guy that you should be adding in leagues here, as we know Suarez is going to be out for a while with that shoulder?
Yeah, I think so. This was a move a couple weeks ago when I was out here talking about how Jose Suarez is the worst pitcher in baseball, and then he pitched like the best game ever. He turned back into a pumpkin. He did exactly what he got hurt, unfortunately, but 7 runs, 2 2/3. Silseth was a guy that was like dominating in the minors. They brought him up to kind of be the long relief guy, and I think he'll get the starter gigs right now. So that is definitely something I would take a look at. I'm not jumping to the wire. Here's an interesting one. Are you dropping Taj Bradley for Silseth?
That's a tough one. I'm going to say no because of what my eyes saw with Taj Bradley. I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I don't think that's quite the move. Boy, I would with Mitch Keller, though.
Yeah. Here's Mike Patton. Mike Patton's funny. Joe can't say half the names. Joe's dumb. Yeah, that's right. Because Joe.
I like he's Drax. I like how he's Drax.
Yeah, I am. I'm very Drax-like.
No, he's Drax. Mike Patton is Drax.
Oh, Mike Patton is Drax. Oh,
nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too fast. I would catch it.
There's a lot of names in my head at any given time. I do cover baseball. I do cover football. I do cover college football. It's a tougher thing than you realize.
My brain 100% switches players sometimes. I will say a football name for a baseball player. That's how it goes.
Here's the best retort. Gnostic baseball. We can't say Pisa Pia either. So there you go.
I know a lot of people that struggle with your name, by the way. A lot of people.
The Leaning Tower of Pisa. It's not that hard. I mean, let's continue on. Franmil Reyes, DFA'd by the Royals, only 27 years old. I mean, he was terrible this year. This is such a perplexing one because when he landed in Cleveland a couple years ago, Welsh, he started to really pop, and we're like, yeah, okay, Franmil's going to be that big boy DH kind of thing. He's going to go smack 30 homers every year. Maybe he'll hit 250, but
remember me last year? I was like, Franmil might hit 40. Like, he's going to tap it, and he just lost it.
What happened to Franmil? This is one where I can't understand it, because usually you don't see it happen in a player of this age. Usually 25, 26-year-old guys, when they start going well, it doesn't fall off the map. It's weird that he's 27 and he's getting DFA'd at this point. It's very strange. So I don't know if it's a work ethic thing. I don't know if it's, it's tough, because you also, whenever more than one organization, when you see guys start to bounce from organization to organization, sometimes that's a little bit of a red flag on a player. So that's the only other thing I can think of, that there's something else there.
Yeah, I think what it is, and this would be another thing to go and research if we really wanted to, but I think he was being pitched a certain way for a long time. And I think the league has started to adjust. You also can see new trends. You know what I'm saying? There's more splitters and more sweepers and stuff. And he doesn't have the acumen to adjust to these. And it's completely falling apart. And I think that's a big. Also, I'd throw out that Drew Waters has been rehabbing out here in Arizona, and he just got sent out to a AAA assignment. And that's a guy, once he's done, they're probably going to send right back up, because he did make the major. So he will, I think the writing was on the wall that, hey, there is no future here. Drew is a week or so away, and they just let him be free.
I'm not a big Drew Waters guy, but we'll see. By the way, we got to talk about this too, because I know this is hot in the chat too earlier. Mason Miller, right elbow tightness. Yikes. This is not good. Yikes. Why does this happen? Why do good things always go bad so quickly in Major League Baseball? It feels like this is like the one bright spot for the A's. So obviously the concern level whenever you have an elbow issue is high. So I mean, there's no other way to talk about it. Like, if you're in redraft leagues, this is something where if Silseth is on the waiver wire, go pick him up right now. Don't wait, because I feel like if you wait.
But are you saying to drop Mason Miller for him?
I am, because he pitches for the A's anyway. And if Silseth's going to keep this rotation spot for any length of time here, which it seems like there's a good chance he does, then what are the range of outcomes where Mason Miller news is good, Welsh? I mean,
no, that's a great way to put it too. That's maybe the best way to put it right there, is what are the range of outcomes? My biggest miss on him the whole year was the 30 innings. I didn't see how he was going to go bonkers and what they were going to stretch him to. So kind of this whole time as he's been pitching, I'm like, this is really fun, but how much are we going to get? Now you throw on this arm issue. They should baby the living crap out of him. He already wasn't going to get the innings. This does leave the potential, if this is not devastating for the back half of the year, that he can just be let go, as in he's just gonna go, fly free, and we're not gonna have to worry about it. But yeah, I think this is very concerning. I'm again a little I don't know if I want to drop until I get the devastating
I had this image
news
of you on a mountainside releasing Mason Miller with his wings and
immediately
flying. Or it's those things where they release something and then a bird comes out of nowhere and snatches it, and then
like a hawk. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what it feels
hawks are scary, by the way. But I think I'm a little, unless there's a cool option sitting out there, I don't want to be reactive quite yet.
Okay.
Because there's discomfort that was felt and that pushed off. If there's a good option, I think you can be a little bit more pushy about it. If it's kind of dicey, then I'm just going to hold for just a second, and then maybe I can put him on the IL, and maybe he'll be
I'm going to make the move now. If there's something there, and I'm going to be proactive, not reactive. And look, what's the worst that can happen? Mason Miller goes on the IL for 15 days, comes back, and he's fine. And then he's still pitching for the A's. That's the thing. Mason Miller's really good. This is redraft. Obviously, dynasty, totally different situation.
Sure.
Keeper leagues, totally different situation. Friends don't let friends drop Teoscar Hernandez. Craig Johnson, I see your question. No, you can't do this.
I assume that's a 10-team league.
Yeah, but even
I'm still not.
I'm still not, even in that scenario. More news too. That's really some interesting stuff going on. So Casey Schmidt got called up from AAA today. This just happened an hour. I broke it to Welsh, which never happens. Usually it's the inverse. Hitting 313, 352 OBP, just a 410 slugging. So as Welsh was, giving me the profile, this is a guy who's going to hit for batting average, make contact. Not a big power guy necessarily. Only has one homer. Does have a couple stolen bases though. 3 steals, 32 games. The Pirates are calling up Josh Palacios from AAA, and that's a guy that's been up and down a little bit before. He was a Rule 5 guy. He's been crushing in AAA. I don't know if that carries over. He's got 4 homers, 20 RBI in 13 games. Hitting 434 with a 500 OPP. So this could be just another lightning in a bottle guy. And then the other interesting note too, David Peterson is not going to be starting today at AAA. So that start got scratched for him, and not because he's hurt, but because of the injury news that we had this morning or last night that broke basically, whereas Max Scherzer's talking about he's dealing with discomfort in his right scapula near his shoulder blade. To me, this reeks of something's wrong. If you've got Scherzer in a daily transaction lineup, you have to take him out today. I don't think this is a good idea. I don't think you start him. I know it could bite you in the rear end. I get that. But to me, this is a very clear thing of let's bring Peterson up. Let's let Scherzer go out there, do his bullpen today. If he feels good in the bullpen, we'll let him start. If he doesn't, boom, he goes on the IL. And then we have another set of circumstances. Now, I wonder, Welsh, do you think this injury got exasperated by the whole, I'm not going to pitch for 10 days, and instead of doing any rehab start or any other stuff, I'm just going to go right back and, be Max Scherzer. Do you think that ego-centric move there could have dealt, impacted this injury potentially on the negative side?
Sure. But he's also been very vocal recently about talking about how the speed of the game is going to cause more injuries and he's worried about it. This could be kind of part of that whole thing. I think it's
because nobody got hurt in baseball the last 5 years.
Yeah, but it's pretty bad right now. But again, we always need a meter though, because it's recency. It's like every time we do this, I do it every single year. We're like, oh my God, are there more injuries than ever? And then you actually look and it's like last year they were double. I'd love to see what the metric is, but man, it feels like it's a disproportionate.
Well, you can.
Between pitchers and hitters, though, are wild.
We did this last year on Spot Track. Remember the number of people on the IL and the dollar amount paid to those players on the IL was some astronomical number. We did it every so often, but I'm sure you can look at just from now till like May 1st in 2022 and see what the real difference is. I mean, to be honest, it's interesting because the minor leaguers who have been coming up for the most part, who have been conditioned to this environment, they don't seem to be having a problem with it. It's the old farts who are having a problem with it. It's Lance Lynn who's having a problem with it. It's Max Scherzer who's having
and
I'm an old fart too. And look, it seems like that's the theme of the show today. But that I think was to be expected. And now it's coming to fruition. But that is something to really keep an eye on. Let's get to some more of the injuries. Max Fried going on the 15-day IL with the forearm strain. This is not good for Atlanta. Another injury here. All that means is that Elder stays in the rotation for the foreseeable future. So if you still have that guy, you held on, and he's been pretty good, just keep holding because he's going to keep getting turns. Ramon Laureano in concussion protocol. Suarez, we mentioned, left shoulder strain. He's on the IL. Nico Horner went on the IL. Christopher Morel was called up. He's 23, played 113 games last year for Chicago, 330 batting average, 425, 730 with 11 home runs, 4 stolen bases this year in AAA. Is Christopher Morel somebody you would pick up right now? Because Nico could be out a while if that hamstring news is a little bit more severe in terms. I don't think we got a grade yet on that hamstring.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's one of the better players in the minor leagues. They even acknowledge it. He's a speed option, good power option. Contact has been a little bit of the issue, but he's a total pickup in this case.
Total pickup. He's so dreamy.
Totally. Come on.
So besides the Max Scherzer news, also good news, finally, Corey Seager beginning that rehab assignment on Thursday. So that's important. We finally got Travis d'Arnaud back. Difficult stuff there for the concussion protocol. And then Aaron Judge will return today. Rejoice against the Athletics. Here's a fun one. The Mets, who have a giant deficit at catcher since Omar Narvaez got on the IL. Gary Sanchez now getting signed to a
Gary Sanchez time for your boys, Joey.
Am I excited about this? No. Do I understand it? Yes. Tomas Nido can't hit water if he fell out of a boat. He's a great defensive catcher. And Sanchez looks a little overmatched right now. I think, I'm not Sanchez. Alvarez, pardon me. It'll only be a matter of time before Sanchez looks overmatched, but Alvarez overmatched as well. So I'm not taking too much out of this. But if you're in a 2-catcher league and he's floating out there, there might be opportunity here. So you might stash him and see what's going on. Let's talk about 3 up and 3 down. John Gray, 1 run over 7 innings and a win over the Mariners yesterday. Logan Gilbert on the other side of that game, 10 strikeouts. He was great.
He was perfect through 6. And gonna maybe say it, but had you checked out the trade video last week, maybe a Mr. Logan Gilbert was at the very top of that trade list. And he did get whacked around after he lost the perfect game, loaded the bases up, but he was phenomenal and the strikeouts were coming. And I don't know, this actually might still be like an opportunity out there because my big thing was buy. If you didn't, he was 6 perfect, but then it kind of leveled itself out. So there might be still a good buying opportunity. It is so interesting how him and George Kirby are kind of like polar opposites right now, where Kirby is still performing well, as I've been describing it, like a Shane Bieber-esque, but he's not striking guys out. And Logan Gilbert hasn't been as good on the surface level, but the strikeouts look like they are coming. And he's still a great buy right now.
Here's a good question, actually. Razor, asked, what is Rule 5? And I know some people really, some like casual baseball fans really don't get what that is. Rule 5 draft has a lot to do with the 40-man roster. So basically, if a player is, I don't know if it's out of options with their club, if that's
it's being 5 years with the organization.
5 years with the organization.
What's wacko for a lot of people is when you see guys that are like 20 years old and you're like, what? Or more
because they were international signings at 16 or something like that.
Guys that signed at 16 years old and they've been with that organization that long. 5 years, you've got to be on the 40-man roster. If the guy's not placed on the 40-man roster, then they become Rule 5 eligible, which means the team can draft them, but they have to keep that person on their major league roster. And if they don't, they have to return them to the team, or they can like buy the player. It's really weird. It's an odd. It's one of baseball's many odd
Welsh. There's been some great guys. Yohan Santana, I remember, was a Rule 5 guy. Josh Hamilton, because of obviously the drug issues and other things, he ended up being a Rule 5 guy. Shane Victorino was a Rule 5 guy. Dan Ugla, who had a lot of good seasons there for the Marlins, he was a Rule 5. Nestor Cortez. That's interesting. George Bell. I did not. Wow, that's one I did not see on this list. But yeah, we have some quality players over the years who've been Rule 5 picks. Anthony Santander, actually, playing now for the Orioles. So R.A. Dickey ended up winning a Cy Young for the Mets. That's a pretty good Rule 5 draft pick. Gleyber Torres, the last of the 3 stars yesterday. He went yard, got that. That was another one of the bets yesterday. The total bases and the runs. Boom, got it. One swing of the bat. That's all you need. The downs yesterday to Oscar Hernandez, who we mentioned earlier, 0 for 4, 3 Ks. Right, just stay true. Just bench him until he gets hot again. Corbin Carroll 0 for 5 with 3 Ks. And Dylan Cease, 7 earned runs. Welsh, you had to feel really good about this one because you were negative Nancy about Dylan Cease going into the year. How can a man with a mustache that good pitch so bad?
Yeah, it's funny. And also I continuously think about, as I do because I don't let things go, was that very first game where he was awesome and lots of tweets about like, oh, how's your Dylan Cease now? And he has kind of been mediocre this entire time through. I think the velo might be down a little bit. It's the way he commands the pitches. He's a walk machine, and he's given up a lot more runs. He's getting away with a lot less stuff. It ain't good. It's not good. Now, I don't think my bold prediction isn't right where he was going to be the 3rd most valuable of the fantasy guys, but we are in a world where Lucas Giolito might be more valuable when Dylan Cease, give 3 or 4 more starts.
Might? I'll say it right now.
I don't know if he is right now.
Well, look, he's going to be more valuable when all said and done in draft capital. Dylan Cease was going as a top 10-ish starting pitcher. Lucas Giolito was at what, 24, 25, I want to say, in ADP overall.
I mean, from a value perspective. Right now, Giolito makes more sense. But yeah, I mean, and looking here, Dylan Cease is getting smacked around. If you guys want your big differences here, this is probably the biggest one. Hard hit percentage. He had an awesome, so he was controlling, how guys were making contact last year. Top 7% of the league in hard hit percentage, only 31% last year. This year, bottom 3% of the league, 53% hard hit. He's also, his strikeouts are down to the lowest it's been in the last 2 years. His walks are back up. And it was kind of the story about, the expected ERA too. It's over, even though he's got a 5.5 ERA, it's 4.71. So it's not that much better. So he is getting hit a lot harder than he was last year. And that's a big key. Plus the fastball is down over a full mile per hour, as well as the slider. So you've got velo down ticks and he's getting hit hard. It ain't good. It ain't good.
You can pick your friends and you can pick your prizes, but you can't pick your friends' prize picks. So you got to do it yourself, which means you got to go to PrizePicks, download the app or go to prizepicks.com. Use that promo code leading off and you get 100% deposit match up to $100. Welsh, what do you have for the people today?
All right. I've got 4 plays for you today, even though I don't like a lot of the bets today. I don't have a bunch of bets. I do like a mediocre betting day.
The last 2 days were much better. Monday,
yeah. So I'm going to not try to overdo it today. But here's what I've got. Houston Angels, no run first inning, Framber and Shohei Ohtani. Obviously you're going to have the big dogs in there, but I'm going to play that one. Logan Webb fantasy score 32.5. It's a good matchup. And I believe he's hit this like 4 straight starts. Pete Alonso, 1.5 total bases versus Luke Weaver. Yes, please. And going back to that Houston game, Framber Valdez strikeouts 5.5. This is a great play against Houston as long as they are not tagging him a whole bunch. But these 4 plays, I all like them. I think I like them equally. Maybe the one I would be the careful about for all you guys is like total bases. I've been pretty brutal about, Ks I've been decent. I can find some of these others. Total bases have been tough. So be careful, but I do like Pete Alonso a lot today.
Tread lightly, but still be ready.
Yeah.
Let's continue on with my prize picks for the day too. I'm going to keep this one pretty simple. Max Scherzer under 6.5 pitcher strikeouts. See what I did there? And this is before this other. I just read about the news. Now the problem is if he doesn't start, obviously this is going to be a problem.
Yeah. But, if he starts, this is a great one.
Yeah. Please get in there now. Mookie Betts 8 hitter fantasy points over, and Fernando Tatis Jr. 8.5 over. Bets today. I've got a double parlay for you. So 2 here, the 2 legs, which is, it's yesterday was about money lines. Today is about overs. I think there's a lot less good pitching on the slate today, which typically means you're into either bad starting pitching and then early middle relief, which is typically where you get a lot of good runs. So 9.5 on the Brewers Dodgers game. I'm going to go over on that one and over on the Minnesota Twins Padres game where you've got Varland and Waka, and the other one you got Lauer and Syndergaard. I think those are 2 environments that should produce more than 9 runs or 9.5. So if you put those 2 together, you get plus 265. If you look at Zach Eflin's number 4.5 Ks on Betting Pros, you're getting plus 124. You take the over on that. It's a small number. 4.5 is a small number against Baltimore. It's a team you got some Ks in there. And Lucas Giolito, the aforementioned best pitcher on the White Sox, 5.5 Ks. I'm going to go the over on that. You're getting plus 110. Welsh, what do you have on the betting line today?
I've only got 2 plays currently that I'm jumping into. Again, yesterday was pretty good on any of the totals and stuff like that. So my 2 plays are Arizona, Miami. So the Diamondbacks and the Marlins, first 5. So through the first 5 innings, 4.5 overruns. So I'm projecting out for 5 runs. Jesus Luzardo, obviously good, but both of these teams, as far as what they've been giving up, especially the Marlins giving up and the Diamondbacks been scoring. Brandon Pfaadt is a huge question mark. You know what? This is actually kind of a masochistic play because it's like, if I don't hit this probably means Brandon Pfaadt is pitching really well, but Pfaadt hasn't looked super good. So I just need 5 runs out of this, and the Marlins have been giving that up. So I'm going with the first 5 over and Framber Valdez strikeouts. It's the only play I think. Ohtani, I'm very tempted to get into. I think that's playable, but Framber is it's a good value. 5.5 over. Those are my.
Yeah, I'm staying away from that game today. That one, I don't like those 4 outcome games. Those always scare the crap out of me. Maybe you take the under in that game. Maybe that's the best way to approach that one potentially.
First 5 under feels a lot better too.
Kevin Cottrell here in the chat and the Peanuts and Cracker Jack saying, I really wish I did more research on Cease before I drafted him. But Kevin, this is why you subscribe to the MLB channel here at Fantasy Pros, because I don't know if there was a show where Welsh didn't say how much he did not like Dylan Cease going in. Like, I really don't. It was Corbin Carroll's the greatest player that ever lived, and Dylan Cease is the worst. I'm pretty sure that was. I just recapped the entire offseason, right?
It's like that scene in Guardians where it's like you're missing a few key details, but for the most part, that's it.
That was a great line too. You know what else is great? Sorare. Sorare.com is amazing. Go to fantasypros.com/collect to sign up today for Sorare and build and manage your own fantasy baseball teams just like a pro. It's the ultimate fantasy baseball platform where you can actually own your cards, and win or lose, your cards are yours. So you can buy, sell, trade, scout, do the whole thing. fantasypros.com/collect. Play Sorare MLB today. The next era is yours. Welsh, in terms of DFS, here's what I like today. Lucas Giolito, 9.3. Aaron Nola, 8.8. Jesus Luzardo, let's get with the Lizard Man, 9.5. Stacks today. Again, Minnesota, San Diego, New York. That's, I think, where you're looking. Milwaukee, you could probably throw in there against Syndergaard, too. He stinks. Matt Mervis is a value, 2.3. Alex Kirilloff, just 2.2. And J.J. Bleday, 2.7. He's hitting balls hard all over the place, that guy. Home run boards today. Taking a look at the home run leaders. Again, fantasypros.com/chat to join our Discord. We've got MLB. We've got NFL. It's free to join. If you want to go premium, you can go participate in the home run call contest. Prime time at the top at 15. Zerto at 13. Razor, Ramon, BHB, and Carlson at 12 right now. I'm going tonight, Welsh, with Aaron Judge. Returning Aaron Judge against the Oakland A's. Sign me up. So the Judge comes back, and I got a home run yesterday from Jose Ramirez. I broke the streak.
Nice.
I'm alive again. I think that's 5 now for me. So, Welsh, where are you going for your dinger today?
Donnie was killing me. If people have noticed it, my shirt has been bugging me. He's like, Welsh has fixed his collar today more than Rodney Dangerfield. No respect, no respect. My shirt has been driving me nuts. Because I can visually look at it in like the shirts.
We got 100 and something, you know, got well over 150 people watching live right now. Maybe you take another button down, it goes up to 180.
Well, I did. See, no, I had the button down, but like the shirt was falling. It was just driving me nuts. So if you guys were wondering what the hell I was doing, it was just absolutely driving me crazy, which in turn drove you crazy. Home runs drive me crazy because I want them to get out. I wanted Julio yesterday.
The numbers just went up, by the way, when you unbutton the shirt.
Oh, all right. Let's go one more.
There we go. Leading off live.
All right. Farts in a jar and unbuttoning the shirt. Today I'm going to go with Pete Alonso. You probably could tell where I was going to go with it. I don't really know where to feel out any of this stuff. There's a little part of me also that looked at Jazz Chisholm with Brandon Pfaadt homers. Brandon Pfaadt gives up a lot of homers, so there might be a play with the Marlins. That's, again, me being like, but I'm going to go with Pete Alonso going up against Cincinnati. It's a great destination. Luke Weaver, a little bit dicey here, so let's go with Alonso on a big fly. Trying to get closer to double digits. I want to get on that board. I've got 7. Let's get 8.
I'm still behind. I get to 6 today. That'd be good. Here's one from Chris in the chat. How long are we holding Matt Mervis for? Been striking out a lot since he's been up. Look, this is what you got to do. You got to just be patient with these kids. Like, this is, if you can sit him, you sit him. You wait till he shows you a little bit of life. But Mervis, I think we know he's a guy who's going to have some swing and miss, but he's going to have some, big power as well. So I think you kind of know what you're getting into.
You can't pick up any of these guys and be frustrated after 5 games. Like you gotta roll. Like if I'm going to invest in any of these rookies, if it's a hitter, you got to do minimum 2 weeks. You got to not even think about what's going on after 2 weeks. You really, especially with bigger prospect names, you should commit to like a month. Pitchers, you got to get like 3 or 4 starts. Like Brandon Pfaadt last week, LOL, haha, Brandon Pfaadt sucked. But like, let's see what happens today and let's see what happens in the next start. It's 2 decent matchups. He keeps giving up 4 homers a game. See ya. Kick it to the rocks. I'll send him a jar of farts if he does that. Otherwise, let's wait it out a little bit.
All right.
No respect.
Yeah, the one other thing too, Wonky was questioning if anybody knows who Rodney Dangerfield is in this chat, and that would make my heart sad if you didn't.
Multiple references in here.
Yeah, but I will say this: if you don't, go watch Back to School. It absolutely holds up. It's still hilarious. I think I watched it like a year ago. It was one of my favorite movies. I remember as a kid being taken to that movie when I was probably too young to see that movie. You also see a young Robert Downey Jr. playing the the other. With his son's friend who lives in the dorm with him. It is hilarious. It's a great 80s movie.
You know what you're going to hate about me?
School. What's that? You've never seen Back to School?
I just don't recall. I wasn't going to say
you got to see Back to School, Welsh.
My most memorable Rodney Dangerfield movie, this is very 90s of me, is Natural Born Killers. When he plays what's her name's dad. And he's
I saw some people saying Ladybugs. I mean, Caddyshack, he's brilliant in. I mean, of course, Caddyshack that I wonder about like what you're doing with your life. But another great one, Easy Money. Him and Joe Pesci. That's a funny one too.
Great group. My actually favorite thing about Rodney Dangerfield is I'm a big comedy guy. I listen to lots of comedy podcasts. I like hearing comedians relive their experiences with Rodney Dangerfield. That's actually my favorite intertwining with Dangerfield because a lot of people have had time with him and funny interactions and the robes.
He was such a great supporter of comedians too, which was so cool. Like so many careers launched because of him and that nightclub he owned where he gave people shots and opportunities. So there you go. And we appreciate you giving us a shot, an opportunity every single day here. And again, subscribe to FantasyPros MLB, Welsh's trade video. Is it out yet or it's coming out soon? Any minute now it could be.
Probably should be.
Tomorrow, the waiver wire video. So get on that. Subscribe today. I see we're up to 3.3. We're closing in on 15K. We get to 15K. It's the week of wigs here. I will wear a different wig every single day. We get to 15K. It's going to be a beautiful thing. A great time to be alive. Thanks for joining us today. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on for the Welsh. I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids. Enjoy baseball.